Generational hoarding and its impact. Ah, what a tough subject. All right, but now let's flash forward. We do live in an era today where everything is on discount and things are readily available to us, and we can buy things for very inexpensively. And so there's a whole generation of stuff that's like, I don't have the time. I don't want to be resourceful. I don't care. This is old. Let me throw it away and let me get something new. And there's a big sandwich group in the middle that are like, whoa, whoa, don't throw that away. I might be able to use that for something else. Here's a perfect example. Inside my house right now, I have two irons. Now, my husband does most of the ironing because he's ironing his own shirts and he's resourceful and responsible that way. But what's interesting is one of those irons does not work. It does not work, which is why we replaced it and why we have a second iron. But he won't let me throw that first iron away in case the new one breaks. You're not going to go back and use the old one because it already broke. It's not going to work again. It was so broke, we replaced it. We bought a new one. I know the logic is twisted and it's a little bit doesn't make so much sense. But here's the rule. I will let him keep two irons because one gives him security in the event that the new one breaks. Okay, well, if the new one breaks, we'll probably buy another one, right? But the catch is this. Lots of people have lots of things just in case. All right, so how does this affect the younger generation? And this is where it gets really confusing. There are a lot of kids that grow up with a lot of stuff and they don't have an appreciation for the stuff and they don't take care of the stuff and they have way too much stuff. And then parents now that get divorced, they try to buy the kids love with buying them stuff. So now the kids have more stuff. And then if I feel my love from my parent comes from them giving me stuff, then the only way, and this is a trap. So beware, parents, if you're buying your kids love with stuff, this is a trap. If the kid wants to feel loved, what do? They ask for more stuff. What they're asking for is, I want more love. I want more attention. I want to feel noticed and appreciated. It doesn't mean give me more stuff. There's a lot of the stuff kids have just confusing and overwhelming, and there's not a place for all this stuff. Stuff gets old, it gets neglected, it gets not taken care of, and then it gets abused and unappreciated. Then we expect kids to go out in the real world and make a way for themselves, and they're like, "Oh, why would I work? Everything's been given to me." So it's this weird trap that we find kids in. In the summer of 2015, we had a troubled teenager come to live with us, and she was an amazing person. But she came from a home where her mother had passed away when she was young. And so, I think a residual effect, I don't know all the nuances of what was actually triggering her, but she had a real tendency to be a hoarder. And for a teenager to be a hoarder is kind of a unique thing because a lot of the items that she had did not even belong to her. She stole items from other people so that she could hoard them. And so even though it was a requirement in our home that her room was neat and tidy, every day she would unpile everything in her room, make these huge piles of clothing and items and stuff. And then literally you would have to go in and help her sort through those items and you'd find 20 or 30 cell phones. And these cell phones did not belong to her. She did not have the cell phones. She'd stolen them from other kids or traded them or who knows where she got them, but they did not belong to her. So there was a constant process of trying to go in and clear out the room and have conversations and go to therapy and try to resolve these issues. But what was happening is I think she was trying to sandwich her own emotions. Like, I'm feeling all this sadness, and I feel like if I'm smothered in stuff, I will feel better. And so her comfort at an odd place was being surrounded and sandwiched and smothered by stuff. It didn't even have to be her own stuff, just stuff. And the rest of our house was not a hoarding house, but that was one of her behaviors to try to work through. All right. So while she was feeling these moments of sadness and despair, and there were probably a lot of other issues, but again, when the home was so untidy, she was always embarrassed to invite friends over. Hey, invite your friends over. We have a good house here that you can invite your friends. It's a limited environment. We know what's happening here. Your friends are welcome. We'll make you guys snacks or food. You guys can watch movies. But because of her own little bubble of, I got to be surrounded in my stuff, she'd get really discouraged and depressed and embarrassed. And then she didn't want to invite friends over. How sad is that? And so it was this ongoing tug of war of how do we make her comfortable and make her feel like she's important and she's needed and she's appreciated, and also provide her with the social skills to then make new friendships and try to work through this scenario. So there are a lot of issues that are going on there. So it is time for us to give ourselves permission to get in control of our stuff because, like I said, this is an epidemic and it's something that needs to be addressed. So I really appreciate all of you guys joining me today. I love you guys. I really appreciate these times that we're able to spend together. Please know you are not alone. Please remember that you are enough. All right, you guys take it easy and I will see you again. Take care.